Hello there, folks. Hey, this video is going to talk about a function called GetDeviceStatus. And this is a function that will return a couple different things based on the condition of the communications to that product. So the function I'm talking about can be found over in the lower right-hand corner of Crimson. If you go to System, in the lower right-hand corner, expand your functions tree, and then if you expand the comms device tree, the function we're talking about here is called GetDeviceStatus. So if you right-click on that and do Show Help Info, that will open up the PDF for that thing, and that function will return some status information based on the device that it's polling, and it'll give you two sets of information here. The first 2 bits in the 16-bit word will give you this information here, and then the remaining 14 bits will give a hex value of this that gives you some additional status. Now I'm going to show you how to get all this information and how to separate out from this data to this data and so forth in this example. Notice that it's a get device status here with the device number here, and so in Crimson, where you will get this device number is over in the right-hand or left-hand side of Crimson. Click on Communications, and then as you click on devices, I'm going to do this first using the 45 port, and then I'll use the, maybe that's the other one I should change, and then I'll do the other ones. So anyway, so if you look here, on the 485 port, I have a number of server slave devices here, and as I go through them, you can see that's drop number 1, that's drop or slave number 2, address number 3, and so forth. But as I click on those, if you look up here, Crimson will tell you some important information here, and it will also tell you some things down here that are of importance. So as I click on them, notice, for instance, slave number 1 or server number 1 is device number 2. The next one is device number 3, and so forth. So you can use either this number in that formula, or you can also simply right-click on whatever you name over here, which I love the fact that you can name these, but you can right-click and copy that. You have to right-click, copy that, and then you can use that in the function. So, for instance, I'm going to go over here to Data Tags, and I'll start one, and then I'll show you some things. So I'm going to create a new integer tag just by clicking that, and if I want to use that function that I'm talking about here, I'll go to the right side, and in System, I'll grab this, and I'm simply going to drag and drop it, boom, right here like that. Notice, though, there's a number 0 right here. See the number 0 right there? Well, I need to make that a 2, so I'll put my cursor there and put a 2 in there. That makes it look at that device, or you can also just highlight this and delete, and then right-click and do paste. It should paste that name. Hit the enter button to make it turn blue. That also does the same thing. So I'm going to use this first, and then I'll go into more detail. So let me go over here to display pages, for instance. Let me get rid of this stuff here. I want you guys to see this in the raw format. I'll go to the right side, data tags, and I'll just grab this tag out here so we can see what it looks like. I just want you to see something here. I'll make this a little bigger. All right, let me save and download this right away so you can see something. All right, there we go. So here's the screen. I'll click the red button here. That goes to that page. Notice that that tag by default right now says the number 257. And if I go back to the spreadsheet, I don't see a 257 at all. I do see something here. This says the 2 bits, the bottom 2 bits, or the last 2 bits, I would say that's bits 0 and 1, are these values. And then the remaining numbers are this hexadecimal thing here. All right. So back here at Crimson, this is showing you that whole value as a integer thing. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over to the left side data tags. I'm going to expand one of these. And if I go to this function here, I made a bunch of tags with the same name. Notice it's the same thing here. I just want you to notice that. That's currently what's being shown on the screen. What I did is I did a smart duplicate of that, and I created another one called binary. Same exact thing here, Notice same thing here. But on this one, on the Format tab, I went down here and I declared it as a numeric. I hit the pick button here, did a numeric. And then if I slide all the way down to the bottom, I declare that is 16 bits, binary 16, and I group digits. So that's going to put that out there as 4 nibbles of 4 bits each. And let me go ahead and show you that. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen real quick. Let me get rid of this guy. Boom, we'll delete that off there. And I'll just grab this whole thing and we'll talk about it here in a second. I'll grab that whole thing out there like that. Let me save it, download it to it. All right, let's see here if it comes back up. Go here. All right, so there's that 257, the same thing we were looking at earlier. Now it says 769. That's weird. Should go back 257. Well, you see it oscillating, okay? So it doesn't really tell you much there. But this here is the binary representation of that. And really, team, I want to focus on bits 0 and 1 here. The rest of this is some other stuff. So I just want to focus on these 2 bits. So if I go back to Crimson, go to the left here, I'll make another copy. I'll make another copy of this smart duplicate, and then I paste and I change the name of this one to 2 bits. Because that one I'm doing something interesting. I'm taking that same function and I am ANDing it. Look at here. Can I make this bigger? Let's see. I hope that shows up on YouTube. I'm ANDing it. I'm doing this function here, and I'm ANDing it with a hexadecimal 0003. If you look at number 3 in a decimal form, well, I should say in a binary form, that means bits 0 and 1 are going to be on. 0 and 0 equals 0, 0 and 1 equals 0, 1 and 1 equals 1. So this allows me to parse out the bottom 2 bits of that. And so that is what I'm doing on the display page right here. And then this last part, okay, so let me go back over here. I have another one here. I did the same exact thing on this one, but on this one, I made it a decimal number. So instead of it showing as a binary, look here on this one, go here, it's still binary down here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. That's a binary. And it should be still 16 here. Hold on. If you roll over things once in a while, I don't like that Crimson changes. But anyway, if I go look at the other one here, this is exactly the same, but on the format for this one, instead of it being a binary, I declared it as a decimal with 2 digits. So if I go back here, that's the binary, the whole thing there. I'm only using these 2, and then this one becomes decimal 0, 1. All right. So that's taking care of that. Let me go a step further though, and if I go back to this PDF right here, look, 0 is the device is initializing, 1 is operating correctly, 2 means there's 1 or more soft errors, and 3 has some encountered a fatal error, whatever. So instead of it showing 0, 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to use a multi-state tag to do this. So I'll make just another copy of that same tag. Notice the data tab has the same exact logic as this one, same exact logic. However, on the Format tab, this time I hit the pick button and I declare it as a multi-state. And because there are 4 states here, 0, 1, 2, and 3 is 4 different states, that means in Crimson, I'm going to declare it as a 4 here. And I simply copied the text right out of the PDF. I literally highlighted this like that, did a copy, whatever selection, copy that section, and I went back to Crimson, and I simply put my cursor here, and then right-click, Control-V, paste, boom, and that's what I did there. And then I put up here, not defined. If it's one of these, it can't be that because it's only 2 bits. But anyway, in case it wasn't not defined, that's it. So then if you look at Crimson, here it is running. The comms are operating correctly. Now, what if I turn off device number 1? What if I, power off? Well, you're in luck. I happen to have another screen that lets me power things on and off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this guy off. Boom. That turns it off. That should power this guy off. Look. Immediately, the text changed. Now we have a 02 here. And it's saying this. If I go back to my PDF, that's that right there. Yep, because I shut it off, so that's why it's off. All right, so it completely went off right there. Let me go ahead and turn it back on. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I'll power back up. It does take a good 10 seconds or so to power up. Let's see what it does here. Good time to have a little drink of water here. All right, I should put a camera on the screen, then you can see it. But anyway, it's still powering up. Hold on. It's just about ready to boot all the way up. There's a bootloader screen. Okay, it's powered up. There it is. Look. And that fixed that error right there. Isn't that pretty sweet? And then I went a little step further here on this thing. I thought, okay, back to the manual. It says here the following hex codes further enhance information about the device of this stuff here. So I went a step further and I went into Crimson, and then I took that same tag. Let me go smart duplicate again. But this time I went and I took the same thing, but I shifted it 2 digits over to the right. So I got rid of the stuff that was given the other things, and this should leave me the last part of that. And then I did it as a hex. This one here is all binary. So if you look here, slide down, that's the binary. But then the other one is this one called hex. It's exactly the same. You might wonder, what do you mean by shift? Well, I did the, yep, well, that's not the one. How come this guy here is, we'll see what happens. That might be the problem. So this one, if you notice this one, I'm ending it with an FFFC. It's the same. And that kind of gets rid of the, maybe that's the better one to talk about. Look at this function here, team. This one, make it a little bigger so you can see it. This one's using the get status and it with a hex of 0xFFFC. And that means the last 2 digits or bits are zeros. So that gets rid of the bottom 2 and leaves everything else. Anyway, and then if I go back to our page, this is the equivalent of that page. Now, you don't notice something weird here. It's oscillating between 100 and 300. You see that there? So if I go back to my thing here, and this is what kind of bugs me a little bit about this. Okay, there's 100. I don't see a 300 here. So I don't know if I completely believe this table, if you will. I do know that these 2 ports are over the RS-45 port, and I can tell you right now with some testing I'm doing, there are some packets of Modbus 45 that are creating some bad packets. If I had my sniffer on here, I could show it to you. So I know there's something like that going on. But anyway, and then I went a step further in this video, and I'm also using a function called isDeviceOnline. I think I have a video on that, but if not, I have a flag tag over here, and there's another function over here on the right called isDeviceOnline. That pretty much returns a 0 if it's not powered up or not online, and a 1 if it's working correctly. Kind of a simple, or doesn't give as much diagnostics. But anyway, that is also on the screen, and so you can see that right here. Now, let me go a step further here, team, and I'm going to show you something here. In my database here, I've got a bunch of RS-45 slaves here, but I also have some ModbusTCP slaves. So what if I wanted to do the exact same thing and look at one of these other devices here? So let's go down here to the left, and notice this is that's that one. What do we got under here? So under here, I've got these. Okay, this is correct. Here we go. All right, look here. So this one, these are all using the slave 1 name. You see that? Okay. So if I was to go ahead and show that on the screen, let me go over here to the right, and I'm going to go ahead and grab all this stuff. I'll move it down a little bit. I'm going to grab this block, but I want you to notice something. See how big it is? Because it has all the names and the values. I just want to see the values. I know the order is the same as what's down here. So watch this trick. I'm going to right-click on this whole conglomeration right now. I'm going to group it all. So that puts it all as a group. That way it's nice. I can grab the middle and whatever. But now I'm going to go into the group. I'm going to go into that item there. And I want to get rid of the label on that one and just leave the value. So I'll right-click on this guy, go to Properties. And right here where it says Contents, Label, and Data, I'm going to choose just the data value. That gets rid of the name. I know it's really small font, but I'll click the OK button. And now I can see there's just a 0 there. Now I want to do the same thing I did to that one to all the rest of these. And it's kind of hard to lasso or select all of them when they're within a group. So what I'm going to do, I'll click on the first one there, hold down my Shift button, and then I'll try to click on the rest of these in order. And as I'm doing this, you'll see the red box increases, and down here, down in the lower left-hand corner, you can see, team, it says 7 items selected. That's what I want, okay? So let me, oops, there's my 7. Now, with all 7 highlighted, I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say copy from, and I want to copy all the formatting from this top, not these, I mean, I could these other guys, but I want to go right to this guy right here. So I got to kind of hover over to where I get that blue box, boom. Now you see it, okay? I must have forgot one, because this one, no, that's right. That has the text. Okay, now I got everything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll click away. That loses my focus. Then I'm going to click one time on the whole conglomeration, and I'm going to attempt to shrink this over here like this. Oops, I didn't want to move that, but so I move it like this. I just want to see here. Okay, so this should be looking at this TCP connection. Let's go ahead and download this to a team. Let's see what happens here. Okay, and here we go. All right, so now this is watching the TCP connection. Interesting that this time the what's the thing called here? Get status more, the hexa number. Wow, that's interesting. That just went from 300 to, isn't that interesting? So let's try something here again. Let's go ahead and turn this guy off again just to see what happens. Yeah, this is the TCP packet here. Interesting that that retains the numbers longer than this one does. Must be a timeout thing I have set up, but these should go to dash lines after some amount of timeout. There it goes. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and turn it back on. Let's see if it picks it up. Notice that the TCP comms is pretty slow right now. Let's see what happens. It's still not powered up, so I see the HMI is repowering. It's not all the way done through its startup. Let's see what happens here. Okay, it's all the way up. There we go. Everything looks good. Yep. It's just interesting to me that that value is oscillating between 100 and 300. And again, you know, okay, we got 100, but do you see a 300? I don't. So I don't think that this table is complete with all the errors. This is really the thing I would focus on, is this part here. Anyway, that's just a quick video on that topic. The thing is, you really got to remember, is that I am trying to leave just the bottom 2 bits, and that's what this AND function does right here. That, you know, you can, maybe I should have showed how to do that. Yeah, anyway, yeah. Anyway, that's what I got for you, team. If you want to copy this database or something, let me know. I'll send it to you. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great day. We'll see you.